GTM Podcast The Great Master EP04 Mastering Scriptural Studies. Hello everyone. We hope you enjoy the life and time of the Great Master พระมงคลเทพมุนี story so far. From the previous episode, our Great Master has decided to ordain. But on his way of training himself as a Buddhist monk, he found one of the scripture that he cannot translate. So thus, continue from where we left off. During those days, the education of monks and novices began with memorizing the Buddhist texts in their original Pali language and the Pali root form. Only then would the monks be allowed to begin the study of the scriptures. Candasaro or Luang Pu pursued his scriptural study in the same way. He memorized the foundation materials and started studying his first scripture, the Dhammakaya, a collection of sayings of the Buddha. He went on to study two other texts popular among contemporary monks, the Mangala Dipani and Sara Sankaha, essential texts about the Buddha, the Dhamma, the precepts, generosity, Tudanga practice, and etc., until he became so well versed that he was able to teach others. In those days, the scriptures were not in book form, but etched on palm leaves using palm script. Because palm leaf scriptures were in loose leaf forms, students did not study in the scripture in consecutive order from page 1 onward, but picked chapter at random. Some students studying the Dhammakaya start with earlier chapters, while others with later ones. As a result, the more students attending a class, the more bundle of scriptures had to be carried to class. If a student studied privately with a teacher, he needed only to bring his own bundles of chosen texts. If a student wanted to learn what other students were learning as well, he would have to bring not only his own scripture bundles, but also those chosen by other classmates. Candasaro wanted to gain as much knowledge as he could, so he carried not only his own scripture bundles, but also those chosen by others as well. It was quite a heavy load to carry each day. Academic life was by no means easy. Students had to seek out their teacher. Lessons were not held in classrooms, but the teacher's quarters. If a teacher happened to reside in a remote temple, it was the duty of the students to tread the weary mile each day to go to that temple. After breakfast, Candasaro would cross Chao Phraya River from Wat Phra Chaitupon to Wat Arun. At 11, he would return to Phra Chaitupon for the midday meal. In the afternoon, he would attend a class at Wat Mahathat. For his evening class, sometimes he would have to travel to Wat Suthat, sometimes to Wat Sam Plum. By night, he had to attend the class of the day at his home temple, Wat Phra Chaitupon. However, it was not every day of the week that he had such busy schedule. No matter how far away the lessons were, how heavy the bundles of the scripture he has to carry, or how tired he felt, Candasaro was never absent from his classes. With heavy bundles of scriptures on his shoulder, he was a frequent passenger on the Chao Phraya River ferry between Peacock Gate Jetty and Wat Arun. The jetty keeper became acquainted with him and was duly impressed with his industriousness. His perseverance also stirred many of the regular passengers to faith. Many invited him to receive their alms each morning. Others offered to pay his living expense. The most faithful of his sponsors was a food peddler named Nam, who provided him with breakfast and lunch daily. For years, Candasaro traveled to many schools to study the scriptures. More and more people were inspired by his diligence and tried to find ways to help him. So strong was their support that he was able to establish a private Pali school at Wat Prachetupon, using his own quarters as a classroom. He invited Pramahapi Visuttamo, a talented monk of Pali grade 5, to be a permanent lecturer. Candasaro cared for as many as 10 students and teachers in the school at his own expense. His school taught Pali up to grade 5. Times, however, were changing in the world of Thai monastic education. The Council of Elders issued a policy directive to base Pali study on grammar rather than free translation from the root meaning. Wat Prachetupon was left with no choice but to merge its various private colleges into one. Accordingly, Candasaro Pali School ceased to exist. Candasaro was unperturbed, however, by the curriculum changes. Even though Pali examinations changed from oral to written, he persevered to adapt to the change. And so, everyone, this is how our great master, Luang Pu, has learned his Pali language by heart. How will he continue on after the Pali system education change? We will continue in the next episode, Pursuing Meditation. Stay tuned. If you like the program, don't forget to subscribe, like and share to help us continue our program.